Before we get started, let's go ahead. If you got, I got Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and social media. I.S.U.P.K Minnesota. If y'all could go ahead and share the content, it would be very much appreciated. And if y'all could have your phones on mute as well, Baba Kashar, which means please in Hebrew. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Okay? We are going to get into it. Just give me a second here. I'm loving this. If you go on Facebook, there should be something saying share, like a share button. If you have a Facebook or a YouTube. All right, let's see. Okay. Let me share how I want to. Yeah, if y'all brothers and sisters that's online, if y'all could share this, Baba Kashar, appreciate it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go ahead and not waste the time and get into it. If you could, let's clap it up real quick. All right. I want to say shalom, Yahweh Shem Yashar Brakathan to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shamar, Aludan Bashim Yahweh Shai to all the sisters. All right. It's I.S.U.P.K Minnesota. As you know, under Commander General YAHANNA. Pay your tithes. Get ready for events coming up in the next month or two. Yeah, I want to say next 2 months. You know, Midwest Fire Weekend. We got Vegas. We got New York. We got Florida, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So today, of course, is going to be scripture breakdown. Otherwise, you know, I have a topic. If there's no questions, and of course, this is the law class, so pertaining to a lawful topic, so to speak. All right. Once again, this is one of the most important classes. The reason being because of everything that's going on the earth, we need to keep our eyes open and our minds focused. All right. If you want to keep your children alive, if you want to keep yourself alive, what you have to do is to listen to these classes. You have to focus in, because while everything in the world is distracting you, see what I'm saying, you are being put to sleep. Your oppressor knows how to do that very well. He specializes in having you, you know, in a state of illusions and delusions. Okay. So, did anybody hear about the story about the young girl who lost her life this morning? The little girl that was shot in the head a few days ago. And this morning they just reported that she did not make it. There are 2 other children, 9 and 10, who got shot in the head a few days ago as well. And they are fighting for their lives. They are fighting for their lives. One, the sister that got shot in the head, I believe she was 6 years old. Her name is Trinity. She got shot at a birthday party over north. The other 2, don't quote me, it could have been in Minnesota, but I remember one of the stories is that one of the little girls was playing around with another child in the backyard of their home or something like that. And she jumped on a trampoline. Someone drove by, tried to shoot. Their target ended up missing and hitting the child. And she's fighting for her life. And all these things could be very much avoided if we knew how serious the law was. See what I'm saying? There would be no bullets flying in our neighborhoods if we knew what true love was through these scriptures. If you knew to love your brother like you love yourself, you would never shoot at him. You would never harm him. Same thing with a sister. There won't be no fights. There won't be no arguments. You would know how to settle every disagreement, every dispute. And that's what's really important. But anyway, before we get started, does anybody have any questions? On Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. If you have any questions or concerns, you can type them in. I will be checking. and answer those questions for you. All right. Otherwise, if anybody got any questions or concerns or any points that they want to make in the classroom, you just go ahead and raise your hand. All right. And I'll call on you. So what else has been going on in the news lately that anybody has seen in the past week? It has been a lot.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah, it was a point that yesterday that I wanted to speak on.
Yeah, go ahead. You know.
Oh, yeah. The COVID hitting India, you know, there might be another wave of it hitting here because they're not closing up the borders on them. They closed the borders on Mexicans, but let's see if they close the borders on the East Indians.
Right.
Because they getting hit with COVID probably worse than anybody right now.
Oh, good night. Yeah.
Let's see if they close the borders up on them.
Right.
And if they don't close the borders up on them,
it's gonna be another. It will be what's called a third, because not Minnesota, the U.S. has already had a second wave because of the second shutdown.
Right.
That happened with so it's like since me was talking about this a few months ago. It was like 2-3 months ago.
Right.
Yeah. I remember when there was
February.
okay, yes, because it was a curfew. It was a curfew, and then also too, it was a shutdown for almost a month or about a month.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was the second wave. There you go, yeah. So if like you said, if they do come, it's gonna be a third wave.
Right.
You see what I'm saying, of COVID. And good night. If I was you, that vaccination sounds good to me, because me personally, dealing with COVID just slightly, I have a different respect for it. I have a whole lot of respect for it. But I do not want to go through that again. Good night. I'm talking about sore throat, aching body. This ain't no cold and flu. This is far more, severe. It's far more serious. Go ahead.
That's another thing. People are saying that COVID is like the same thing as the flu.
No.
My first vaccine today.
Yeah, no, not even close. So
right. People are saying it. Saying it's like the same thing, but another version of it. And you shouldn't be twisting it up because people are dying of it, dying of COVID, and they weren't dying of the flu.
Yeah, people are dying. People are dying more for the COVID than a little cold and flu. You can get through that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it may take you to the hospital, but COVID is going to either have you in the hospital or on your deathbed.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
All right. As a matter of fact, they are similar.
In a sense.
Right. According to the Bible, it's consumption.
Right.
And the Bible puts it all in one category because there was a time where the flu was killing people like that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time where, the flu was killing people so badly that they couldn't even be buried. Colds were killing people.
Mm-hmm.
See what it is with the modern medicine. The modern medicine allows us to, build up an immunity to flu, so we catch it, but we don't die.
Right. Yeah.
Way back in the day, though, people was dropping like flies.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're right about that. Yeah.
Right, it's called influenza.
Yes.
And it hit Europe, and it got an Italian name. They was killing them the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
With Italy, that's kind of like the heart of Rome. So it was, especially during the dark age, it was wiping them out.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, all of this stuff is flu-based illnesses that they were dying from.
Yeah.
What name they gave it was still the same thing, and biblically called consumption.
Which it still is the same thing. Right. Yeah. The cold and flu is not doing as much damage as the COVID is right now. But back then, at a time, because even Jeremiah went over that, because at a time it was. You see what I'm saying? Like the swine flu.
Right.
The swine flu has a lot of bodies. When I say bodies, meaning a lot of people died.
Right.
There's a lot of deaths at one. Honestly, it wasn't even that long ago.
Right.
I would say in the early 2000s there were high numbers of the cold and flu or the swine flu. You know what I mean? But this COVID right here, once again, I have a lot of respect for it. See what I'm saying? I don't want no smoke. You see what I'm saying? I'm suave. You know what I mean on that, because that right there, good night, man. Like I feel like a goddamn zombie. See what I'm saying? But thank the Most High that it didn't take me out. It means I still got work to do. And for those that got symptoms and had it, no one is gone. See what I'm saying? We have 0 deaths, as of right now, hearing from brothers and sisters in the E.P.K. So that means that they got work to do as well. It ain't their time to go. And this is what's important, man, because the moment every day that you realize that you got breath, you see what I'm saying? You have oxygen in your lungs. That means that you're here for a purpose, for a reason. Like a lot of people say, I'm here to run the game, the drug game. I'm here to, pimp, and I'm here to do all these wicked things. That's not true. In the Bible, the Most High called our men to be men, prince of the power. He called for our sisters to not be whores, to not sell themselves short, but to be something more precious and valuable. The Bible says what? You know what I mean? Like that our woman should be far above rubies. What does that even mean? You see what I'm saying? Like that is something, great and beautiful. When I see, TV shows and videos of sisters, in their nakedness, twerking and degrading themselves, that's not a woman that's far above rubies. Right. You know what I'm saying? That is someone that is spoiled and that has lost her value, her worth, her potential. And the Bible also says, the Bible says, choose not a light woman. And I mean, anybody in the room, what is a light woman? Let me say right now, because there are some people that are ignorant. It's not talking about the weight. Go ahead.
The light woman is a foolish woman.
A foolish woman, right. Right. Someone that's in, go ahead, like.
Don't take nothing to son of a man seriously.
Right, absolutely. In other terms, a woman that's in the world. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because the sisters in the truth, they ain't foolish. They're very much wise because they are obedient to their man. They listen. You know what I'm saying? They take those check-ins. They really, they serve their husband like they serve the Most High, because that's how it's supposed to go. And that's in the Bible as well. Because that was Paul, right?
Right.
Paul said, "You woman, you wives, and you women serve your husbands like you serve the Most High."
Right.
Right. So, you know what I mean? That's how it's supposed to go. But in a strip club, you won't see that. You won't see it in a woman that is argumentative, defensive. You see what I'm saying? Combative. Can take any correction, advice from anybody. You got to watch out for those men and women that say that I'm grown. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm a grown-ass woman. Well, being grown is going to get you killed. And why do you say that? Because that mentality is going to get you killed. Right. Not your physical age, not how old you are is going to get you killed, but your lack of understanding. You being grown, meaning that you have it all figured out. Based on how they live their life, they don't have it figured out because they smoke weed, they smoke crack, cocaine, whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like just doing drugs. See what I'm saying? How they raise their children, how they treat themselves, how they treat everyone else poorly. No morals, no foundation. See what I'm saying? No sense of really like no common sense. Like there are people to this day that don't know that Christ is black, which is beyond me. There are people right now that don't know that sleeping with another man's wife, I'm sleeping with another man, sleeping with someone else's wife is a sin. So I'm saying, like, all these women out here that are single, why not get you a single woman? Why do you want to sleep with another man's wife? That doesn't make any sense. That's very disgusting. There are people out here that do things that they don't know is unlawful. This is where the class comes in. This is where we sit down and get to the bottom of the problems in the Black community. And this is why these classes are very much important. We don't just sit around and talk. Like we do work. We go out to the street corners on Saturdays, Fridays and Saturdays, depending on what state you live in. Because I believe DC and Philly, they go out on Friday and Saturday. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? So like all these things are relevant and matters. All right. So let's get to the scriptures. I don't want to be long-winded. Can we get Matthew 5:17, please? Anybody? I would greatly appreciate it. For those that watch class as well online, man, make sure y'all pay your tithes. If you're using that 12 tribe chart, you gotta pay your tithes. All right? Instead of spending all that money on that weed, on drugs, you make sure that you pay your tithes. Because that could be used for a brother or a sister really in need. That weed that you want, that's not important. That's not a priority. We have food programs. We have a clothing program that can really help brothers and sisters really in need. For once in your life, stop spending money on unnecessary miscellaneous things and put it within your nation. All right? Go ahead, anybody. You got it? All right, go ahead.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law.
Right, and this is Christ, of course. This is Matthew, who is writing what Christ is saying. Can you read it one more time?
Think not that I'm come to destroy the law. Or the prophets.
Right. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. Now, why is that important? Because as you know, the Christian church, which is the house of Satan, the house of lies, the house of child molestation, the house of everything that's incorrect. You see what I'm saying? A house of witchcraft. This place that tells you that you ain't got to worry about the law. I want to say it was Creflo Dollar. He is on video saying that the law is sin. Can you imagine that? I'm like, what? You never seen that video?
I think I heard him say similar stuff. You know?
I said, wait a minute, hold on. Like I saw the video and I laughed because I'm like, wait, what? Hold on, I have to wind it back. He said that the law is sin. And the whole crowd is cheering. I'm like, wait, what? That's ass backwards. How can the law be sin? But the Bible does tell you what sin is, according to 1 John, which is the breaking of the law. And it also tells you what transgression is, the violation of the law. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. But the law is life. The law is what's going to keep you from being, it's going to keep you alive, in a sense. If you know the law, you're not going to smoke. See what I'm saying? You are not going to be a whore, a homosexual. You are not going to, shoot your brother and your sister and miss, and you end up shooting a child. I'm gonna tell you right now. I remember back in the day, people used to always say niggas in Minnesota don't know how to shoot, and that's a true statement because you're hitting children. You know what I mean? You're missing your whole target up close, but you're hitting someone's child. Good night. I'm not saying you should shoot, people.
Right.
But people don't know, of course, it doesn't make any sense. You're hitting children instead of the people that you're trying to aim at. Go ahead.
That's what you said. I was doing that one girl got hit, Tyson Edwards or something like that. She got hit while she was doing her homework.
I remember that, yeah. Yeah.
She was an innocent body.
Absolutely, yeah, yep. And I heard stories of people being in a close range of their enemies trying to kill them. And they end up killing somebody else. You know what I mean? You know how they say bullets ain't got no name?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But we are going through curses. That child did not deserve that. See what I'm saying? Sometimes our children can get hurt, or better yet, those around us can get hurt based on our sin. That's why it's important. A lot of people have a mindset of being an individual. If you believe that you are an individual, you are sadly mistaken. Because based on what you do, based on your sin, it can affect your entire nation. That's why the Black community is so polluted with sin. You know what I mean? Have you ever heard of have you ever heard of a story of how can I say it? Okay, somebody give me an example of generational curses as far as what we see in our own communities right now, in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community.
Selling drugs.
Say what?
Selling drugs.
Selling drugs.
homosexuality, the curse,
Right.
gang banging,
Right.
committing adultery, living with another man's wife.
Right. And we see all of that till this day. Like, like I met a sister. She had told me that, she comes from a family of rape and molestation. It was so hard to hear that story. It was so hard, like it would have brought you to tears. Hearing the sister describe that, she said, damn near everybody in her family has been molested. She's talking about, parents. She's talking about uncles and aunties, nephews and cousins. I'm like, good night. Like, when does it stop? When do you realize that there is an issue and a problem in this household within our community? Only the Bible can fix that issue. For the people that always argue with the UPK about the truth of the Bible, see what I'm saying? They are going to continue to be the ones to plague and spread, you see what I'm saying, sin amongst our people. What's that scripture, Tarab? Can you find it for me? Am I your enemy because I tell you the truth? I want to say it's Galatians, the 5th chapter, maybe. That's Paul. If you could give me that, please. And I'll let you get back to Matthew 5:17. Yeah, it should be, am I your enemy because I tell you the truth? Then you put a KJV. I want to say Galatians, maybe the 5th chapter or 4th. You got it?
Galatians 4:16.
Okay, so 4th to 5th chapter. Go ahead.
Galatians chapter 4:16.
Mm-hmm.
Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?
Right. Have I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Because I tell you to stop being a weed head. Stop smoking those disgusting cancer sticks. Like, goddamn, like those are disgusting. See what I'm saying? Like, cigarettes remind me of someone who hasn't brushed their teeth. Bad breath. It's very disgusting. And then too, like when it seeps into your clothes or your hair, it makes you want to vomit. Weed, I hate the smell of weed. And I'm not exaggerating. It gives me a headache. That's why I don't go around family members in the world. I do not. They be like, oh, what's going on, family? Like, come on, man. Like, just miss me with all that. You see what I'm saying? And also, too, the Bible does say to abstain from evil. That's Thessalonians, I believe, second or first. Like, am I your enemy because I want you to live? See what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with not being like a Manga Bar would say this? What's wrong with not being a crackhead, a meth head? There's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with you wanting to be that. There's something wrong with you wanting to be a poor, but make it look, gotta do whatever she gotta do to pay her bills. She's a hustler. No, that is a whore. You see what I'm saying? Like don't try to make it clean. So let me ask you a question, right? And excuse my language. And this is a question for everybody. If there is poop on soap, is it clean?
No.
It's not. Why is that? Why is that? You feel me? Like if the poop is on the soap, is the shit clean? It's not. And Salaki, like it's not clean at all. You know what I mean? Like it's still dirty. You know what I mean? But it's this whole thing. Well, don't soap, clean germs. Yeah, but I mean, then again, like I mean, if you think about it, like you feel me? But like, don't try to make something that is unlawful lawful.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Now, like I was just telling to Rob in a Manga Bar, or just pretty much brothers and sisters after class yesterday. I want to say the 1940s, either 1920s to 1940s, homosexuality was considered a mental disorder in the DSM. I want to say it's probably a DSM 4 or 5, all right, which is a psychology book. Okay, I think there's 6 or 7 of them right now as of 2021. But back in the older books of the DSM, it was classified as a mental disorder. And you can always find records of people being locked up if they were homosexual. All right. Also, too, in Sweden, I learned this, and this is true. I learned this in the 9th grade in history books. In Sweden, if you was caught having intercourse with the same gender, you can get locked up and put in jail. And this is in Sweden, where all the white folks is at. You see what I'm saying? But then kids in the classroom used to ask, like, how do you know if someone is, having intercourse or dealing with another person? They say sometimes if there was suspicion, or if they seen too many of the same sex in a certain apartment or a house and things of that sort. So, people were watching, being, watchmen according to that. And they can get locked up. But now in America, in 2021, it's acceptable. Like homosexuality is a new heterosexual. It's a new straight. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was reading the book. I don't know what book it was, but he said he was shocked to see a black man gay. That he said we acted too much for it. Yeah, well, I don't know what book it was, but if you see one of us film there, you'd be shocked. We acted too much for it.
Right.
So I think a lot of these is in the food and stuff now.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, no, good night. Yeah. I mean, because, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Food coloring. It's not your body getting the right nutrients, so sometimes the body be missing a certain mineral. You just stop. Yeah.
Right, I know.
I eat. I just be careful what I put in my body.
Nah, yeah, you go ahead.
It's the pressure of this society.
Right.
Because there's a whole bunch of elements that go along with that. The oppression of this society and the pressure and all of that. Because we know that a masculine black man is looked at as something threatening.
Right.
That's the reason why they were castrating us during the time of slavery.
Right.
To take the masculinity away from you. We one of the biggest things that they want to break. Everybody thinks that their enemy is the earth and all of this and that. No, their real enemy is us.
Mm-hmm.
And you break the masculinity out of a race of people, they don't have no strength to fight.
Breaking the book.
Right, yeah. That's why they did that. It wasn't just because they liked the sex. They did that too. They liked the sex also. But they were doing it as what they call it, ritualistic sex match. Also, just like, and then what they were also doing, they had brothels with little black boys in them.
Yes.
That were like, 7, 8, 9 years old and have them dressed up like little girls.
Yeah,
With makeup and all on. And then that was the highest price prostitute was a little boy. That's why the scripture says a boy for a harlot.
Right, and then the girl.
And so the girl for wine.
Yeah, that's right. Right. That's Joel 3rd chapter.
Right.
Yeah, you actually went over that yesterday, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And this is happening today. It's no different than the sex trafficking. You see what I'm saying? It's no different than the sex trafficking. But the moral of the point is that these laws is the only thing that's going to save us out of this captivity. Our obedience, our strength and endurance and serving the Most High is what can really save us from all these things that's happened. You know what I'm saying? Now, how do you know? How do you know that the law, statutes, and commandments works out for us in U.P.K versus those that don't have it? Just give me a clear example.
How the laws work for the U.P.K?
Yeah, like for us in the U.P.K that's keep the law, statutes, commandments. How do we know that it helps, and how it's not help? I mean, how people in the world that don't use it is not helping them?
Okay, the law helps us keep our marriages together.
There you go.
One thing,
right? Now, tell me a problem you will come up. Tell me a problem that may come up in your marriage that the law can fix.
Well, like say for instance, woman, you know, if you tell her to do something, like, well, I ain't gonna do that. Well, you got wives obey your husband.
Right.
As long as you tell her, you're not telling her to do nothing unlawful, you have to do that.
Right, right. It's not like you're telling her to do something that's going to destroy her.
Right.
You know, I'm not telling you to put this, you know, this needle in your arm.
Right.
I'm not telling you to have this threesome, which is very disgusting. I don't know why people like that shit. It's a lot. You know what I mean? Very, you know, lustful people in the world. You know, we're not telling you to, you know, discredit yourself, lose your integrity, you know, strip yourself of, you know, being feminine. See what I'm saying? We ain't telling you to do that. But because of the influence of America, it changes the minds of our women. And the same thing with men. Now give me an example of a law that can help men. Anybody? What is something in the Bible that can correct the spirit of a man versus it, you know, being the opposite of being wicked?
Okay, thou shalt not covet. You want something that somebody else has.
Mm-hmm.
You take covetousness out of the way, and then you don't have no robberies.
There you go. Most times, you're right.
You don't have break-ins. You don't have it. It'd be way like it was way back in the day, where you can have the door of your house open all day long.
Right.
And be sitting in the living room or something, and have the house open. Well, a lot of cases, you can leave the door open and go to the store.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And that was, I mean, at one point, it was our reality. See what I'm saying? It was our reality to actually live like that. Like, you can keep your doors unlocked. You ain't got to worry about robberies and things of that sort because, you know, your neighbors, you know them. You know they'll never take from you.
Right.
You know they'll never steal from you. You see what I'm saying? There's trust. There's love. There's brotherhood. There's sisterhood there.
Right.
You ain't got to worry about it. Now, you know, like for example, like in the U.P.K, you know, I call it a righteous covet. You see what I'm saying? If you see a brother, they got on something nice and dope and you want it, 9 times out of 10, they give it to you. You see what I'm saying? And you ain't gotta pull a gun, a knife, and you ain't gotta try to fight them for it. Right. They give it to you. See what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, all these niggas in the U.P.K are fly as hell. Right. I'm talking about from the troopers to the generals. These brothers be fly as hell. You know what I'm saying? We call it the U.P.K drip. You know what I mean? And the sisters too, don't get me started now. I done seen the sisters give away things, you know what I mean, that was very beautiful and just giving away just, you know, just with no sweat. Right. And that's love, man. Like that's trust. You see what I'm saying? Like that's what real brotherhood and sisterhood is. So I'm saying, like, we ain't gotta hurt each other in order to get what we want. Right. You know what I mean? But moral of the story, what we need is His law. We need the scriptures. We need the Bible. Right. And of course, it changed our lives. In the U.P.K, you won't find a thief. You won't find a homosexual. You won't find a murderer. You won't find a whore. But somehow we are still always the trending topic for those in the world. And you know what? I get it. Those in the world that talks about us, they are just upset at what we got and what they don't have. But it's okay though. Come join the team. See what I'm saying? If you don't like the team that you're fighting on, as far as, you know, fighting for Satan and fighting for the oppressor, which they are doing, every time that you smoke, see what I'm saying? Every time that you become an alcoholic, every time that you display yourself as a whore and a homosexual, you are on the field with the oppressor and Satan. But in here, we are on the side of the Most High. And that's the only side you should want to be. Because if you're on the other side, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be beautiful. You are going to see yourself in turmoil. You are going to be in a state of destruction. And there's so many scriptures about that. Like the Most High spoke about, when you're not on the side of Him, you know what I mean? He's going to laugh at you in your calamity. Does anybody know what calamity is by definition?
Great misfortune.
Say it again.
Great misfortune.
It's similar to that, but if someone could grab it. Yeah, if someone could grab calamity. And anytime that you look up a word, you want to go to through the Merriam-Webster dictionary because that's most accurate. Everything else, it misses details of the definition of the stuff.
Destruction.
Say it again.
Destruction.
Right, the Most High is going to laugh at your destruction, but I still want to grab it for the class.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, you're right about that. Absolutely, it is. Yeah, it is destruction. Yep, calamity. It's going to be CALAMITY, if I'm not mistaken. Calamity. I like that word too because just writing and stuff like that. That's a good word. Calamity. I love these biblical words. What's the other one? Indignation.
Right. Indignation.
Yeah. I think that's what is that? Isaiah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Indignation.
Yes. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Desolation. All that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Has anybody found it yet?
Calamity?
Yeah, calamity.
Okay.
Otherwise, I can still pull it up if I need to. So let me see. Should be right here. Yep. I got it. Don't worry about it. So calamity, of course, is spelled CALAMITY, right? Calamity definition: a destructious event marked by great loss and lasting distress and suffering. All right, that's the first definition. The second definition is going to be a state of deep distress or misery caused by major misfortune or loss. As a matter of fact, everybody said the right thing, so I'll give y'all a hand. That's right. And that's right. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's what we're going through today in America. You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, when talks about the curses, there shall be people that will look over their shoulder, day and night. You see what I'm saying? Like, you are in fear because of the cops, because you got weed on you, you got drugs on you. You know what I mean? You are being oppressed. You're looking over your shoulder because you got, child support coming up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You got the police on your back. You got all these things happening left and right because you are what? You are oppressed. All right? So, let's get back to Matthew 5 and 17. I need to add some more scriptures in here, more than talking.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 17.
Uh-huh.
Think not that I'm come to destroy the law or the prophets. I'm not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Now, Yahushua, who is a black man, you see what I'm saying, the Mashiach, our king, he said that he did not come to destroy the law, nor the prophets. You know what I'm saying? Like, why does he have to say that? Anybody? What is the whole purpose of Yahushua saying that? Go ahead.
And because the people was coming at him, with all the Pharisees and scribes and everything, coming at him like he's trying to destroy the law.
Right. See what I'm saying? Like they are getting what we call, as far as slang, like they are getting it twisted. They are not understanding. You see what I'm saying? That's why he has to say this for that purpose. And essentially the Pharisees were evil bastards.
Right.
And you know what though? They did know the law.
Right.
They knew the law, but they did not keep the law.
Right.
That's a big difference.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Like it's one thing to say, oh, I've been watching class for years and things of that sort, but are you paying tithes? Well, and no, like if you watch class, you have to pay tithes. If you know the Bible, you've been watching for 5 to 10 years, you know what is required of you because of what the scriptures say. Go ahead.
And they were partial in the law. Of course. In the fact that they were partial in the law, they started to lose what it was that they already had.
Zeal.
Right.
They started to lose that zeal. They didn't give a damn. They was getting what's called being comfortable comfortable and complacent. Is that right? Yeah, comfortable and complacent. You know what I mean? Like that's what was going on. That's what they were doing. Right? They started to wither away and not give a damn about it.
Right.
In the moment that you forsake the law, you are going to start to see yourself become weaker. And if you're weak and someone looks up to you, they become weak.
Right.
So if you're not keeping the law and people are influenced by that, that causes a chain reaction to our people not keeping the law. But if you are keeping the law, like it's somewhere in the Bible where it says, us keeping the law want to make the heathens serve our God, something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
You say that again?
So like how like at one point in time when Israel was so righteous, it made the heathens look at us like so wonderful and powerful, like damn, like these people are wonderful, and like we should serve their God.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? Like that's how much power the law has.
Right.
But if you don't take pride in that, who else would? Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, there was several examples in the scripture, like Moses' father-in-law.
Oh yeah, because he was considered to be a heathen, right?
Right, he was a heathen.
Yeah. And Abraham was a Chaldean father.
Abraham.
Abraham's father was a Chaldean, right?
Abraham's father was from the righteous line, but it was called Chaldeans, just like we call Americans.
Right. Yeah. It's like you were saying.
Yeah, but Moses' father-in-law and several, that had much respect for the laws of the Most High, like the Egyptian that told Josiah not to get into that war. This is of the Lord. He already knew it was of the Lord.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. And that's right. Like, once again, like you said, there are many examples of that in the Bible. So it lets you know that our laws, statutes, and commandments have power. It has power to change your life, and it brings so many things. See what I'm saying? It brings the respect. It brings the honor, the integrity. See what I'm saying? It brings that foundation, because that's what we have to stand on. In order for us to be the children of Israel, you have to do what the Father says.
All right. Good.
Otherwise, if you're not listening to the Father, you are the bastards of this man. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Of this power, who is the Most High. All right? Yahweh, of course, is his name. All right, keep going if you could, Robert Child.
Verse 18?
Yeah, Tom.
Verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled.
So my question is to those that are watching, has the earth and the heavens passed? It hasn't. How do we know? Because what is the earth? What is the heavens? Explain it in the most dumbest terms. When I say dumb it down, like just the simplest terms. Where is heaven right now? Or the heavens, I should say.
I think we have various levels of our heaven is the kingdom of God and all the stuff we command. We have the other heavens, the Gentile heavens and stuff.
Okay, not quite. Next time you want to make sure you're ready, all right?
Okay.
Not quite. So the heavens. It's talking about the heavens up there. The heavens is the sky, right? See what I'm saying? Because we have 4 dimensions, all right? And earth, as you know, earth is right here because we are still here. We're talking. You see what I'm saying? We're teaching. We looking at each other, all right? The earth is still here. It's not destroyed. See what I'm saying? So like everything is going to be fulfilled. That's what Yahweh Shai is saying. All right, the one jot, the one tittle. What is a jot? What is a tittle? You don't know? Anybody? What is a jot or a tittle? Go ahead.
Jot and tittle is like the dot of an I or the cross of a T.
Right. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like until this earth passes, until the heavens pass or die, so to speak, this law is to be fulfilled. It's not an option. It is an order. It's a commandment. It's a law. It's something that has to be done. All right. The Most High would never tell you in the Bible to be an unlawful people, and that's what we have to fight every day in the U.P.K. against the Christian church because they teach you that God is saying that you can be a sinner and still live. How the hell can you live when you're sinning? Sin is death. You see what I'm saying? But the law is life. And that's what we have to understand. We have to understand the difference. The fact that Creflo Dollar even said that the law is sin is absolutely crazy. Hey, young man, go over there. Sit back in your seat. No, it's a while. No, little man right there. You go back to your seat and let him sit right there. The water. All right, so yeah, can you keep going?
Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these of the least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
Right. So now once again, just like the Sadducees and Pharisees, this is all I see in my mind. It's all I hear when I hear this scripture. See what I'm saying? The Sadducees and Pharisees were people that knew the law but did not keep the law. You see what I'm saying? And then if you know the law and you don't teach people, you'll be least in the kingdom of heaven. It's like if you know this and you know this certain someone is going to touch it, I mean, if you protect it, right? I would think so. You would tell them don't touch that stove. But if you don't love them, you would just let them do it anyway. I mean, it's this thing about, only God can judge. You should not judge anybody. But then when the funeral comes, you wish that they were still here. They probably could have still been here if you would have told them the truth. Now, let's say you told them the truth and they still lost their life. It's a possibility because they was being ignorant and they did not obey the words of the Most High that was coming out of your mouth. See what I'm saying? Because even Ezekiel speaks about that. The 33rd chapter all the way to 40, the 40th chapter. See what I'm saying? Because the blood is on your hands. If you know the truth and you don't tell it to your brothers and sisters, that's on you. The blood is on your hands. Right. But if you told them the truth and they did not go from the wicked ways, the blood is on their hands. You see what I'm saying? That's how it goes, man. All right? That's why this class is important. How you know that we love our brothers and sisters? Because we are not keeping it to ourselves. Right. You know what individual Israelites do? They keep it to themselves. You know what I'm saying? They don't join the U.P.K. They study on their own and gain their own false knowledge. But in here, we share the knowledge. Just like Esdras did, Yahushua did, just like all the prophets did. That's why we have books. We have records. And these records is what's keeping us alive. Otherwise, we could have been dead yesterday. If we didn't know the law, statutes, and commandments, we could have died all types of different ways. I mean, the life that we used to live in the world, if you could imagine dying that way, that's probably how you could have died without the law. If you didn't know the Bible at all, you could have died that way. Being in a hospital on your deathbed, sickness, see what I'm saying, desperate need, you know what I'm saying, getting shot, but you survived. I mean, maybe you could have died on that bed. See what I'm saying? You choking on goddamn food or water, whatever. You know what I mean? Just any way that you think of dying, you could have died that way. If the Most High was not with you to show you the mercy, to give you this knowledge and understanding. And you can't tell me that the Most High is not a father. A father cares for you. Right. He loves you. He chastises you. Can I please get that real quick? The Most High loves those that he chastises. I forget exactly where it's at. I'm going to show you how much the Most High is a father, a man who taught us brotherhood and so much love and mercy and long suffering. Because when you had that, you had those health problems and the doctors told you that you was on your way to dying and you didn't, that was the Most High who saved your life. He spared you. See what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Oh, there give you a more definition on the jot and tilt. Reference right here.
You say you got. I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
I say it give you more definition and reference part of what a jot or tilt is.
Oh yeah, go ahead. If you want to, yeah, go ahead.
It's in Greek, or Hebrew, jot, the smallest letter, the smallest stroke in Hebrew letter.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, just like also Tarab was saying,
Right.
like a jot or a tittle is like a little stroke, like a little dot. See what I'm saying? Like think of like a little check mark or something. You know, it's like a little, you know, just quick and easy. You know what I mean? It's something like that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah, no, that was right. What is that? That's 1611.
Oh no, I don't know what this is. Above red news radio.
No, it's fine. Oh, it's probably a little what's called a little coordinates or a little dictionary in there.
Yeah, I got the quoted in the commentary.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. You got one of those Bibles. Yeah, those are actually very good. Actually, that Bible that brother got right there, that's very nice too.
Right.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah. Did you find it? Okay, the water. I appreciate it. If you could, Bible Shah. Then we'll finish up with Matthew, the 5th chapter.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth.
And what does chasteneth mean? Chasteneth is just like a little word to the root word chastise.
Right.
And what does chastise mean? Chasten and chastise is very, very much the same thing. What does chastise mean?
Punishes.
Say it again?
Punishes.
Punishes. That's right. Yeah. If you love your children, you will punish them when it's time to punish them. See what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, just understand this, right? The Most High Power, He is not the oppressor. See what I'm saying? The oppressor, they don't punish the children. They let them slide to the point where when a child is mad of their parents buying them a PS4 instead of an Xbox, they kill them. And then their name is the Xbox Killer. And that's a true story. You know what I mean? That's a true story. You had a white boy who got upset that he did not get the right game equipment and games to go with it. When his parents was asleep, he shot them. Say again? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. He shot both of his parents. Now the father survived, barely, but he survived. The mother was dead at gunpoint at this point. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But the Most High Power, when He sees that you're doing wrong, He puts you in check. And that's what our people need. Right. Our people need to be in check. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, like I was just talking to a family member, and this family member just told me that I was dead to them. And I was like, hey, Lord be with you. I wanted to blast good night. I wanted to blast them. You see what I'm saying? But, this family member said I was dead to them. I said, Lord be with you. All over a conversation about, baby daddies and baby mamas. Because a brother, during Happy Mother's Day, right? A brother had said 56% of women, right, are Black women who have, baby fathers, right? And then it said Happy Monster Day. So the post was offensive to, this family member. And it was like, they shared it and it was like, the caption said, okay, and what? I'm like, what's the issue? It's like, this post seems very disrespectful. I don't get it. Like, is it supposed to be shaming women that have multiple, baby fathers or something like that? It's like, the point is, instead of having multiple baby daddies, why not just have multiple babies with just this man, one man? The point is, stop sleeping around. So I'm saying, stop having multiple, baby fathers. But sometimes things happen. Maybe the father doesn't take up his responsibility, or maybe you are the monster. Happy Monsters Day. You get it? And if you don't, one second, it's like it. If you don't understand that, how can you still be upset? It's like no one's shaming you. Like take your emotions out of it. When you take your emotions out of it, maybe you could finally understand what the post is really saying. Like, a woman should be with just a man. and have multiple children with that man. But, you know, in this day and time, we live with a whole bunch of sin and American influence. We don't think nothing of it to have multiple baby fathers and multiple babies with different men. See what I'm saying? Like, what's modest about that? And then also, too, psychologically, it can mess with the children.
Right.
I'll tell you how, right? I'm gonna get to you in a second. I'll tell you how, right? Imagine a woman not knowing the truth, and she has a husband, right? You see what I'm saying? In the world, or she's messing with somebody else, and she has children by two different men. You see what I'm saying? And one of them dips out, or both of them dips out. And then she comes into the truth, and then she has a real husband, a real man, and she has children with that man. And then you see that that father is, you know, there for all the children, of course. But this child wants love from their father, but they see their sibling having, you know, their daddy and daughter, or you know, son and daddy time. You see what I'm saying? It may do something to a child. See what I'm saying? It might create issues. You know what I mean? You know, like any little thing that we do, you have to be careful. It doesn't just affect you; it can affect your children too, or your nation. Well, you want to say something? Because I know you got a point, huh?
No.
Oh, okay, no sweat, no. It's like, yeah. No, I thought you had a point. That's you gonna comment on.
Oh yeah, well, what you're saying though, I mean, this stuff done, you know, became the norm. I remember back in the day,
Right.
you know, if a woman had a child with, you know, another man, she would at least have enough shame. Not saying that this was right or wrong, but she would have enough shame to try to cover it up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
By giving, you know, one instance, they'll give the child the other child's father's last name.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah. I have seen that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then also too, I remember, just like hearing stories about black families before the civil rights movement, the feminist movement, and all those protests, and you know, big names, you know, that came with the protests and riots and things of that sort. Like back then in the 1950s and 40s, black women used to stick with the man, even if they was messing around with a different woman. See what I'm saying? Like the Johnson family. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Mrs. Johnson knew that Mr. Johnson was messing with, you know, a woman named Shirley down the street. But they never broke up the family. They stayed together, and he just had other children with a different woman. Go ahead.
And can you use this precept?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Call it out.
Western of Solomon, chapter 4,
Mm-hmm.
verse 6, children the God of unlawful bed, witness of wickedness against their parents in their trial.
Right.
Yeah, kind of, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And why'd you prove? Why'd you pull that?
Something you said, I kind of remember.
Absolutely. Can you read it one more time? Yeah, that was perfect. Absolutely. Hey, if y'all could give him a hand, that was right. Might have to add that to my precept, but I haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead and read it.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 6. For the children begotten of unlawful bed are witness of wickedness against their parents in their trial.
Yes, I'm going to give him another hand one more time. One more time. That's a very, very great precept. And here's why, because based on our mistakes, just like we just described, right? You see what I'm saying? With that comes a whole lot of wickedness. See what I'm saying? Also, too, how many stories do we hear about, you see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, you know, the mother leaves, you know, the father. See what I'm saying? And gets with another man.
Right.
Sometimes what happens in the household? Give me a clear example. What happens? You know? Go ahead.
Physical violence and abuse and all that.
There you go. Child molestation. verbal abuse, physical abuse. Just, I mean, you can name it all. You see what I'm saying? This man that she thinks that she trusts and lay down with this man, then touch the children. And sometimes, in some cases, the woman gets touched too, gets raped. You know what I'm saying? And just takes it. You see what I'm saying? Like once again, any little thing that we do, we have to be very mindful and careful in the spirit because it can affect everybody else.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It can affect everybody else. You know what I mean? It can happen. Like for example, some of us have learned this lesson. Like me was talking about this, just growing up in the school and just getting checked about certain things, right?
Right.
Like for example, you're on your way to camp. You see what I'm saying? You're on your way to camp, and camp can be, 2 hours away from the school location. It could be an hour away, 45 minutes, dealing with traffic. You never know, right? But once you get there, you got all the equipment set up, but then what's missing? The camera, the mic, the speaker. You see what I'm saying? Like little things like that. Then you got to go back and forth. You're losing daylight, but you got a whole crowd. You got to, spit this truth. You got to spread it. See what I'm saying? Like just little things like that. Like you got to be sharp. And with this class, that helps you out with that. Right. Staying sharp and staying on point. Because if you're not, you are going to make mistakes. You see what I'm saying? And it can also affect people around you. When I say people, I'm talking about your own people. Right. When you're talking about those that's getting bombed out there in Israel, Palestine, whatever it's called, we ain't talking about, our oppressors. We're talking about our own people. All right? Can you read 95 to 19 one more time, please? So this is what's really important. This is what's going to stop the sin, our children being hit by stray bullets, us fighting each other, us wanting to harm and hurt each other in every way possible that you can ever think and imagine. If there's any envy, strife, or malice in your hearts against your brother or your sister. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of the least of these commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. Right. If you break the law, statutes, and commandments, and you teach others to do so, you will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But there's more. There's more to it, right? You will find yourself in a life full of destruction. So if you don't give a damn, just watch as you continue to be a drug addict. Continue to watch how your life spirals out of control as you continue to be the disgusting filth that you are. Enjoy your life. Live it up. See what I'm saying? Have fun. That's really just me being sarcastic and trying to help you. Like, enjoy being in the world. Enjoy your weed, your cigarettes, your meth, your cocaine, whatever the hell you're smoking. Continue to be disobedient, not listening to your parents. See what I'm saying? Not being a parent to your children. Enjoy that. But watch how life's going to turn out for you. Continue living your best life as a homosexual and a whore. See what I'm saying? And just watch how the Most High deals with you. All right? Just watch how it all falls for you. Because you are going to be sadly mistaken that you made in your life. And we say all love because that's what the Bible tells you, man. The Bible is here to get rid of your emotions and get you to serve the Most High as you should. You see what I'm saying? As you should. Because without that, you have no life. You should count your days because your days are going to be short when you are playing with the Most High. See what I'm saying? I want y'all to give yourselves a hand for being in class though, man. Because y'all being in class today, y'all have proven that y'all should be here. Right. You see what I'm saying? It's very important that these brothers and sisters, even the children, are here. Right.
See what I'm saying? Y'all have proven yourselves to be in here because y'all know what is better. This is better than being in the world and living in the world. Like the Bible says to, damn, like, how does it go? You can live in the world, but don't be of the world, if that makes sense. Meaning you can live in America. You see what I'm saying? But don't live like America. Like don't live that American dream. That American dream is going to get you tore up. It's going to get you killed. It's going to put you in a whole mindset of delusion. You are going to start thinking that you, just like your oppressor, with the blonde hair, with the "I should fight for my country." What country, Negro? You don't have a country. Your land was stolen. Remember that. The Bible showed you that your land was stolen. Your oppressor took it from you. The same one that you're fighting for. You always get lied and deceived every time. Because during the time of slavery, they told us, look, if you fight for us in this war, we will give you your freedom. What happened after that war? Your ass was still enslaved. Good night. Last time we trusted our oppressor, he raped us, he robbed us, he sold us, he set us on fire, he killed us, and nothing changed till this day. Go ahead.
And they were dragging us from the back of trucks simultaneously.
Oh yeah.
While the war was going on.
They did things that us, like Black and Hispanic people would never think to do, because we are so, like when it talks about the Gadites being the Native Americans, when it talks about them, it talks about how they were such a welcoming, peaceable people. This is what Christopher Columbus said in his memoirs. We would never think to be unjust. That's why the Bible says in Proverbs 29:2, when the wicked are in when the wicked are in rulership, the people mourn. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Who is the wicked and who is the righteous?
Wicked is Esau, the mother nation.
That's right. And who is the righteous? You damn give him a hand. You damn right. That's right. That's right. Even when we have slaves in the kingdom of heaven, which is going to happen, you better been in grooming and laying in a bed with, catching fleas from every night. She is going to be a slave. Jonathan is going to be a slave. You see what I'm saying? You know, what's the white name that you can think of? The whitest of whitest names? Max. You see what I'm saying? Matt is going to be in slavery. You see what I'm saying? The reason why? Because of his forefathers, their actions, what they did to us. Now, maybe Jonathan and Timothy didn't do nothing. Maybe Becky and Karen never laid a hand on us, but they are still going into slavery. And that's called justice. That's because of their forefathers. You see what I'm saying? I would hate to be an oppressor. Good night. I would hate to be the oppressor. I can only imagine that, you know, a Edomite hearing the truth and hearing what's going to happen to their people. I can almost assure you that they cursing the Most High for making them be a oppressor. You see what I'm saying? Good night. I would hate to be an oppressor. They are cursing God right now. You see what I'm saying? I remember I was talking to a brother in Indiana. Me and him was on the phone. Like, this is probably like a few years ago. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say no names, but I'll tell you later. So me and this brother from Indiana, man, we talking on the phone. We just having a good time, just talking. You know what I mean? Telling each other like, hey, you know, I can't wait to see you at the next cookout. And we somehow, some way, we just start talking about how, you know, we would hate to be oppressed and stuff like that. And the funniest thing, he was just like, yeah, like, you know, like, man, like, I don't want to follow, you know, an oppressor, you know, myself. And I was like, wait, what? And he repeated it. I was like, don't you know that resurrection is a thing? You'll come back as a oppressor. It's like I forgot. Man, the funniest thing in the world to me. I get where he's coming from. He would hate to be them people because of knowing the future, what's to come. Their enslavement. But it was so funny. But it was still, I still understood what he said, what he meant. All right. So anyway, besides the point, can you go back to Matthew, please? Because there's a second part to it. 5:19.
But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
So those that keep the law, statutes, and commandments, see what I'm saying, and actually teach people the law, statutes, and commandments, what's going to happen to them? They are going to be great in the kingdom of heaven. What is least and what is great? How would you describe it in your mind? I'll take any answer.
The least gonna be like, I heard it'll be like people trash like white folks or something.
Say it one more time.
People trash or something like they gonna
Come, poor. Down like the scum. You want to say something?
Right. The least in the kingdom will have the same role as like the Irish and everything had in slavery. They was overseers.
Mm-hmm.
They had to deal directly with the slaves and all of that. While the great in the kingdom, we ain't even gonna have to see a heathen slave. We'll be able to be to the point where we can spend our days only seeing our own race. How they do, how the half of them can do right now. Like the bosses of these companies and stuff like that, they can spend years without seeing a black person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? That's a very great point. Because I didn't heard articles where, I said heard of articles. I didn't seen articles or pretty much on social media like YouTube, just watching videos. There are people who actually say that they just now start seeing black people in person. Like white people are saying this, and I'm thinking like, where is this person from? In order not to see a black man or Hispanic or Native American. You know what I mean? It's like I see them on TV, but in person I've never seen them before. Like it's so crazy to me and brand new. I'm just like, they must be somewhere far. Right. Because black and Hispanic people are everywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sure.
And the only ones they do see is the ones that working in their house.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, yep. Yeah, as a slave, you know what I mean? Right. So absolutely, yeah. So those that okay, how about the great? What is the great part?
The great means, renowned, rich,
yep.
All of the,
have the authority,
right?
Empowered.
Right.
Yeah. That's going to be the great. Now, you want to ask yourself this question: do you want to be the least in the kingdom of heaven, or do you want to be the great in the kingdom of heaven? And also, too, you got to understand this too. If you are least in the kingdom of heaven, you got to think about your lineage, your family.
Right.
Good night.
Right.
I mean, can you stand seeing your children? See what I'm saying? Being in the same field of work like you. Right. See what I'm saying? Like just doing the most, this man, like I don't even know how to imagine like can you really see your children doing what you're doing as a job, as you being just poor, suffering. See what I'm saying? Doing the bare minimum of everything. You scooping up you on a farm, you scooping up the dog poop. You know what I mean? The cows, the animals, and you just, your kids is doing it as young as 5. You say, like, can you imagine that? Like, really, can you imagine that? Or can you imagine your sons and daughters being treated like royalty with much more respect? You see what I'm saying? Who have something going for themselves, being at a high status. You know what's funny though? Because that's how Esau looks at us today.
Yeah.
Because they have what is called a respect of persons, which black Christians learn very well from the oppressor. Because if you are homeless, they don't give you no love, no compassion, nothing. They look at you as scum.
Right.
But then if you have some sense of status, you know what I mean, you are looked at as something greater. Especially if you got money, you are head of the church.
Right.
It reminds me of I.U.P.K. I think about it all the time because how they let that African in there, get that sister killed, so like it murdered. You feel me? Like it kills me all the time because Israelites all of a sudden. Good night.
Right.
Want to say something?
Right. That's so true. Because that's how they pick the deacons, you know, and all of that. You know, they do I.S.U.P.K pick their deacons and all that, just like the Christian church do.
Yeah.
You know, they don't care about, you know, being, you know, the person being, you know, minding the scriptures and keeping the, you know, being brotherly. They don't care about that.
Right.
They care about that person's image.
Right. Absolutely.
They like seeing his image. If he got a, you know, if he got a good job, you know, working somewhere and he's been there for, you know, a nice amount of time and everything, they will rise him up through the ranks. Just because of that. While the brother is, you know, at McDonald's or something, you know, he's going to be kept, you know, at a, you know, and a low level of officer or something like that. Yeah.
It's very, it's very Christian, man.
And
it's sad, but go ahead.
And the brothers that are going from job to job, oh man,
they
ain't going nowhere. You
know,
you got a lot, you got a lot of brothers that go from, you know, job to job because a lot of brothers are working temp services.
Exactly.
The way that they're designed is they want to cut you off and probably get rid of you before they have to give you benefits of an employee.
Exactly, absolutely. Hey, you know what? And that's right because I definitely did a lot of temp agencies. So I know how it goes.
Right.
I know how it goes. Yeah, it's not the best, but I mean, I would just say the only thing that's good about a temp agency is flexible because of my offices in the truth. You know what I mean? And just, you know, being a 5,000 and things like that. So it's flexible. Otherwise, you know, the rest of the stuff is just BS. You know, honestly. But yeah, I do hear what you're saying though. And, you know, in here, like, I mean, we ain't gonna kick you out. You see what I'm saying? Unless, you see what I'm saying, you are, you know, doing things unlawful and you are, you are ruining the reputation of this name, of this school. You feel me? You know what I mean? Of this sanctuary. Otherwise, if you ain't got no job, you are still welcome in this home. You know what I'm saying? If you are on drugs trying to get off of, you're welcome in this home. All right? We help you fight your demons. That's the whole purpose of coming to class. It's one thing to watch class online, but it's a better thing to be in class. It's different. It's not the same. How do you from just watching on class when you haven't met the brothers that you're watching on class? You see what I'm saying? How do you get the full experience? So you want the $50 plan, but you don't want the full package. See what I'm saying? You get the full experience when you come to class, when you actually experience the brotherhood and converse with brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, you know, how have you ever experienced a dispute if you've never been around a brother or a sister? You know what I mean? Because, I mean, you know, a lot of times when brothers and sisters have issues with each other and they get it handled, it makes the relationship stronger. So in a sense, it's a purpose for it. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, you know, it's certain things that happens to you to build your brotherhood and your sisterhood. Right. It doesn't always have to be a dispute, but certain things happen for a reason. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as a coincidence. All right? So can I get Joshua 1-7? Joshua says something very, very important that everybody that's in class and online must hear, must acknowledge and understand and observe. All right? And the Bible says to study day and night. You see what I'm saying? If you miss a few days, read a lot more chapters. Read an hour every day. It won't kill you. You sitting there watching TV for hours. That's, you know, that ain't killing you. So, I mean, reading, you know, an hour and studying for an hour is not going to kill you. It's not going to take much out of your day. It actually goes by fast if you ask me. Look, me and Sarah be studying for hours on the phone. And so I want to say the max is like 4 hours. And it was beautiful and worth it. I gained something and I learned something. All right, you doing it anytime.
You said 1 and 7?
Yeah, yep, Joshua 1 and 7.
Joshua chapter 1 and verse 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou commanded thee.
Right, you start right there just real quick. Like we have orders, just like, this is a precept to what Moses said before the actual curses. Deuteronomy, the entire 27th chapter. He told us what he was commanded to do by the Lord. He spoke the words of the Most High. He told us that we had to observe, be diligent, you know what I'm saying? And serve the Most High and know these commandments, or law, statutes, and commandments in that sense. And this is what Joshua is saying. Joshua is not saying anything different than what Moses is saying. Like every time we read about Christ, what is he talking about? What is he saying? He is reiterating the same thing Moses taught. That's why he used to cut. When I say cut, he used to slice and dice the Sadducees and Pharisees. Because he used the words of the Most High, but of course, he referenced Moses.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He referenced that man. He gave him props because this is what Moses said. Joshua is not saying anything different. You see what I'm saying? One thing, anything that Obadiah is saying, he's saying the same thing as Ezekiel, the same thing as Jeremiah, the same thing as, who else? Zechariah. You see what I'm saying? Like, it goes on and on and on. You feel me? Like, that's how it goes. All right, can you read it one more time, please? Follow this up.
Joshua chapter 1 verse 7.
Uh-huh.
Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which
Right.
Moses my servant commanded thee.
Right, you want to do all what the law tells you to do. Any commandments that you see, you have to do it. Once again, there's a whole big thing in the Black community. We think that we have an option, or options, like it. We think that we have options. You don't. The moment that you step outside of choosing or obeying what the Most High told you to do, you have chose death.
Right.
Let's know right now. And also, too, I hate, it gives me a headache when women say, like women in the world, they say, I have options. What do you mean you got options? Like, you mean like you can be in different courtships? Or you mean that you can just give your body to multiple men and decide who you really love after they didn't smash and dash? No. See what I'm saying? You too wild, brother?
No.
Especially you, okay, you good. You know what I mean? If one needs a bathroom thing, you too wild, you welcome. You know what I mean? Like they think that they have options. You see what I'm saying? Like, no, like either you be with this man or you will not. Don't give your body over to any man unless you know that you're going to keep him for the rest of your life. See what I'm saying? There ain't no choices in here, man. Right. But if you make up choices and options, you have created a problem for yourself. And once again, that's where the calamity comes from. Or comes in, better yet, because that's destruction. All right? And then also, too, like, people are trying to decide their own sexualities. Not at all. Not in this house.
That's right.
If you was born a woman, you are a woman. See what I'm saying? If you was born a man, you are a man. The fact that you're trying to switch your identity, meaning like, like your identity or your gender is disrespectful to the Most High. Because that says what? If you're trying to change your whole entire identity, what does that say to the Most High? Go ahead.
You said it.
Yes, it's more than that. If you're trying to change what the Most High made you, what are you saying to the Most High? Go ahead.
You're being dishonorable.
You're being dishonorable, yes. Also, too, you're telling him that he made a mistake.
Right.
And the Most High doesn't make any mistakes. He's God. See what I'm saying? He's not man. Man makes mistakes. When I say man, meaning mankind. Men and women make mistakes, yes. The Most High doesn't make a mistake. He's God. Like, what sense is that? Who the hell would want to serve a God that makes mistakes? That wouldn't be God, would it? It would be who? It would be man. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. All right? And the Most High tells you that in the Bible that he doesn't make mistakes. Okay? All right? Like the fact that you're trying to change your gender, things of that sort, it's very disrespectful to the Most High. The fact that he tells you not to do this thing and you still do it, it's dishonorable. Like the Most High is a father to us, but we are not children to him. Feel me? We are not that to him. And that's what has to change. Once you get these laws, statutes, and commandments embedded in us, then that's when we will become children. And we can soon enough, Lord allow overnight, get out of this captivity.
Right.
Because who want to keep seeing our 6-year-old babies being shot in the head and losing their life? A baby, man? A baby. Barely got a chance to live their life. 6 years old. And a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old. All around the same weekend. You can't tell me that we're not in hell. Go ahead.
And I had that little girl sleeping on the couch on the cover, and the police came to the house, shut that girl in the head.
I remember that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, absolutely. I remember that. It was a sad story.
And then one day, the police just says car on the driveway, man. I was scared.
Yeah, good night, man. Good night. And once again, and to Rob, you know, the peak oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. See what I'm saying? Let's give that a hand. I mean, it's very unfortunate that we have to go through these things. All right, can you keep right here? No, it's like before you do it, real quick. The things that we are seeing in our communities, like we are always the trending topic if no one has noticed. Some people try to turn their eye or try to turn, you know, their face from seeing it, but it's going to happen. When you try to avoid it, it's going to happen to you. It's going to impact you and your family. You see what I'm saying? And these things happen because the Most High is trying to talk to you. He's trying to show you something. Once again, the child was only 6 years old. The child was only 9 and 10. What could they possibly be doing in their life in order for them to receive that? Actually, I remember Jen was talking about there's a certain age where children are responsible for their own actions, meaning if they make a mistake, like, you know, breaking the law, it's a sin, right?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But a 6-year-old, a 9 and 10-year-old, like they don't know better. So I'm saying they don't know what's going on. So I'm saying they are just getting to that point. So I'm saying slowly. What could a 9, 10-year-old, and 6-year-old possibly deserve that bullet for? And then you have to ask yourself that question, like, well, if they're not responsible, who is? You have to investigate the household. You have to investigate the people around them. Those kids took on a sin that was not their sin. It was the family sin. And anytime you get into the articles and you get into the enemies and all that stuff, it comes back to the family. Those children ain't got no damn enemies. They don't know what the hell that is.
Right.
It lets you know that, once again, we have to fix ourselves. We have to change in order to change our nation. Right. I thank the Most High that we are in this room right now because we have the ability to show our people that they can do it too. Because we walked away from whatever we was doing in our past life, and now we're doing something much better in this new life. You know what I'm saying? Because we have changed. And if we don't want our children to be in the crossfire, we don't want ourselves to be in danger or our family, we have to step up. Somebody got to do it. The Bible says if you don't do it, the rocks will cry out. Right. I'm not going to let no damn rock get the kingdom. I'll do it. You see what I'm saying? I will step up. And we have to have the strength. I ain't gonna let no rocks take, have rank over me. What the hell? have position over me. Rocks. You see what I'm saying? And you better believe if the Most High say that He would do it, He's gonna do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Imagine seeing a rock officer of 50. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, But the whole point is we have a job to do. And we have to instill in the minds of those that are lost how serious this is. All right? Like, playtime is over with, man.
Right.
It's over with. But keep going, please. Bubba, shout out the water.
Turn not coming to the right hand or to the left.
Right. See what I'm saying? What does that mean?
I think it means don't try to be righteous and don't try to be wicked at the same time. I can keep from everything sinning like that.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Also, too, you know what I mean? That whole thing about don't be lukewarm. You gotta really figure out, what you're doing and where you want to be at in life.
Right.
Either you're with the Most High or you're not.
Right.
You gotta pick a side. You have to. So you can't live two lives. See what I'm saying? Oh yeah, the precept in Matthew 5:28. It says, well, you can't serve two masters. You're either gonna hate the one or love the other. It's either or. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta pick and choose. Which one do you want? See what I'm saying? Which one are you gonna do? All right? Because if you try to live two different lives, what's gonna happen is you're gonna find yourself just, in a sense, you're still in the world. You see what I'm saying? When you try to live two lives, like you're gonna be in a state of confusion. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was looking up the word the unrighteous manner is what maybe what's the dictionary said riches and what as an evil spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for example, you can't sell drugs, you see what I'm saying, and still try to, be an officer in the school. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Most High does not make drug dealers officers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you are an officer, the people's lives are in your hands.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you actually are over families. The verdict system is families. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're officer 50, you're over 50 families. You know what I mean? Like you hold a lot of authority over people's lives. You know what I mean? Because if someone calls you and tells you, hey, hey, sir, I had a question. Should I be selling drugs? Shit, yeah. Hey, look, hey, I'm an officer. Yeah, I be selling drugs. It's all right. You feel me? Because Most High is gonna forgive you because I'll be doing it and I'll still be teaching on the street corners. Like, hell no, like that doesn't go on in here. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta know which is you lukewarm or is you hot or cold? Which one is it? Go ahead.
Is that like you said, teaching the words of God and I'm sinning, and that's just like you blaspheme the Holy Ghost?
Not necessarily, but you are a sinner. You see what I'm saying? Like you are a hypocrite.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? You are a hypocrite if you're doing that.
Okay.
And that's really an example of Matthew 5:19. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to do that.
Right.
So you don't want to be a hypocrite. And the Most High speaks about that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And also, too, if you are a hypocrite, the Most High will expose you.
Right.
The Most High is very good at doing that. You know who is real and who is not real. That's why we see the Christian church. And some people I have been seeing lately have been losing faith and hope in the Christian church, which is amazing to me because they have something where they really manipulate the minds of vulnerable people, which are people in the world. You know what I'm saying? Who ain't got much of anything. Just like how our oppressor tries to influence us to do evil, but making it look pretty. Yeah. It's no different than our own people in the Christian church trying to do that to our people in the world. Right. It's no different. It's really not. But of course, we fight against that. And the Bible says, make your election sure. You have to make your election sure. All right? That's what you have to do. And that's really the moral of the story. Was there more on that? If there is, yeah, you go ahead and finish up that. We can end it with that.
Turn not from the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Like, just like how Yahushua said, you have to be at the, you know, you got to be in that straight gate. See what I'm saying? That straight, narrow gate. And it's tight. Tight meaning not everybody's going to get through. Some people will, some people will not. Now, if it was what is it? Narrow, opposite narrow is what? Broad?
Right.
So if it was broad, meaning it was more open, everybody can go through. But that's not going to happen. And it should always be a straight gate. That's why, once again, like when we raise up brothers and sisters in here, we make sure, see what I'm saying? We let people know that this is an oath that you are taking. This is not to be taken lightly. This is serious. This is life or death.
Right.
And if you don't take it seriously, you know, it can cost you your life. I hear stories all the time about people. Oh, boy, it's a lot.
If I could, you know, as it says right here, you know, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest.
Right.
One of the things that's going to make you to prosper is the fact that people can trust you.
Right, there you go.
Right, and people in this world today that you can trust, like say for instance, you in a situation where somebody's like, man, you know, I got such and such right here. Could you keep an eye on this for me? You know, and I'll pay you such and such amount of money because he can trust me. He give this to somebody else,
right.
It's gone. But he knows if you stand on the law, statutes, commandments, he can be in the world. And he'd be like, man, you know, the only thing I can trust is this nigga right here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he don't even mess with you like that, but he knows he can trust you.
Right.
He knows you're a man of strong convictions.
Right.
So he'll trust it in your hands. And then you done sit there and made money off of whatever valuable possession that this man had that he entrusted to you.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you know what, Salak? No, I was going to say that's very heavy because, yeah, like it's people in the world that I know that trust me with, like, you know, just like, you know, personal information or personal items, things like that. So, of course, all lawful things.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like people trust me, you know, like, you know, with their children, things of that sort. You know, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? You know what I mean? And, you know, it's all love, and, you know, because they know my reputation. You know, they know that, you know, this person right here will never get over on me. You see what I'm saying? Because how you carry yourself. You know what I mean? And I hear stories about this with all of us. You know what I mean? I'm sure a lot of us watch nieces and nephews and, you know, did a small favor for somebody in the world. You know, like, but I mean, everybody can't say that. You know what I mean? Some people have a hard time figuring out how come people just don't trust me, or, you know, don't mess with me like that. Like, just look how you're living your life. Right. You gotta ask yourself, is the way I'm living my life, is it righteous or not? Am I living it by how God wants me to live it? And another thing that's too easy is sinning and telling the Most High that you're sorry, and then just walking about life as if nothing's going to happen to you. That's very dangerous, and it's too easy. Us in the UPK, we fight every day. We fight every day to serve our power.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And it sometimes pains us because when times get hard, you want to go back to your old ways. Those old ways can be that bottle. It can be those drugs. It can be the whores. All the things that you did in the world was all nothing but distractions. It was all distractions. You see what I'm saying? And with all those things distracting you, how can you serve your power? How can you focus on another black man being posted all over the news and social media? So, some people I've seen hear about Black and Hispanic people being killed online. I didn't hear people say out of their mouths, out of their wicked, disgusting mouths, that it has nothing to do with them. That's not my family. Do you know how evil that is? That is terrible. It's like, so you saying that man, that woman or child that looks just like you, it doesn't do nothing to you. It doesn't move you to anger.
Right.
And that is evil. Once again, we have a lot of work to do. Salaki, I don't want to be long-winded. That being said, that's the class, man. I'm going to pass it over to Officer Tarak, man. No, you come. Yeah. Everybody else can be at Elijah. Elijah needs to stand. Or select I mind and stand. I mind you and stand up. All right. You can security us first.
Well, I.S.U.P.K started out of 1 West on the 20th of New York. Group a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, after this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10, means 10th in the Hebrew by YAHANNA. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give the treasury department a teacher. Priest fund, renewal offer for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation, announce holy convocation from sheep.
I got it. So it's going to be the Feast of First Fruits, which is going to be in June. I'm still going to get that date. It's being worked on, so we'll give y'all that date very soon. Most likely Friday or Saturday. All right, that's soon. Okay, Feast of First Fruits. All right, keep going.
Remind Akim and Aqua to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirt, pants, headband, and star.
All right, now we're going to get into the prayers.
That being said, Mother, well, why not get done?
Yeah, that's right.
The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kadash. Hayah. Shamka. Yahweh. Malakaka. Taba'ah. Radazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Baharataza. Hawa. Hayah. Bashamayim. Thunanau. Nakam. Call. Yawam. Wasalak now. Kabuwapi now. Kasalak now. Kabuwapi now. Bala'ah. Tabiyah now. Banasai one. Abal. Hawashai now. Mayan. Rai. Hayah. Laka. Amalakwa. Wa'ala. Watapar. Lawalayim. Amam.
The Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done.
In earth.
As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us of our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. So be it. Amen.
Prayer to bless Israel in the Hebrew, Yahweh. Ba'ashim Yahushua. Barak Lanawa. YAHANNA. YAHANNA. Pari. Barak. Rapah. Magun. Say the name of loved ones once, everyone repeats the name once.
So anybody on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, if you have a loved one that you want us to send up prayers for, what you want to do is type it in the chat. Otherwise, anybody in the room, you say their name, we repeat. Anybody that you want to pray for? Desiree Davis.
And other daughter, Andrea Kelly.
You mind saying it just a little louder?
Andrea Kelly. All the house of Israel.
All the house of Israel. All right, anybody else in the room? House of Torah. House of Makari. House of Gadash. House of Mangabar. House of Kanadabar. All of Israel. All the children of Israel.
I.S.U.P.K, Minneapolis.
I.S.U.P.K, Minneapolis. I.S.U.P.K, Minnesota.
I.S.U.P.K, Minnesota.
All of Israel.
All of Israel.
Israelite School, UPK.
Israelite School, UPK.
So far, nobody's online, so if anybody else want to say something, go ahead.
House of Kudash Bayan.
House of Kudash Bayan.
Stanley Hall.
Stanley Hall.
Captain Marquardt.
Captain Marquardt.
Captain what's his name? What is that?
Yeah.
Ratazar?
No, yeah.
Captain Ratazar. Shimmy Al-Shah.
Shimmy Al-Shah.
Wa.
Bless Israel in English, right? Lord, in the name of Yahushua.
Lord, in the name of Yahushua.
Bless us in Israel.
Bless us in Israel.
In the school.
In the school.
Bless your shield protect.
Bless your shield protect.
Loved ones.
Loved ones.
Name of Yahushua.
Name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Power structures. Bless are you, Yahweh.
Bless are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
All things living.
All things living.
Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua.
Name of Yahushua.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
Punishment and destruction.
To the heathen. That speak against us.
Speak against us.
Like prophets.
Our prophets.
The teachers.
Teachers.
The princes.
Princes.
The priests.
Priests.
The Israelite brothers.
The Israelite brothers.
In the school.
In the school.
Send evils and curses.
The evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
Punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
And shake loose.
And shake loose.
The treasure of the rich of Israel.
The treasure of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches.
What's their riches?
To enter thy sanctuary.
Enter thy sanctuary.
Evils and curses.
The evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
Punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nations.
In the nation.
And the drug dealers.
And the drug dealers.
Court system.
Court system.
The prison system.
Prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Egyptology.
Militia. Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation.
Skinhead. Positive Comitatus.
Positive.
The gay movement.
Cable.
The lesbian movement.
Lesbian movement.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space program.
NASA space program.
Army.
Navy.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Marines.
Marines.
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet.
Open up the
And
internet.
the airways.
And the airways.
Cable access channel.
Cable access
And
channel.
the radio channel.
And the radio channel.
Convict the spirit of any of thy people.
To break the spirit of any of thy people.
And seek to stop
To
us.
seek to stop
And bring
us.
swift destruction.
Bring swift
To
destruction.
all the heathen.
All the heathen.
That stand in the way.
Stand away.
Try to stop us.
Try to stop us.
Broadcasting your word.
Broadcasting your word.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Throughout the planet
Let
Earth.
loose all the
Let
plagues.
loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and
Cause
fro.
them to go to and fro.
Through the earth and consume
Through the
them.
earth and consume them.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief
And the murderer.
and the murderer.
Let Yahweh
The
Shai.
Yahushua.
Michael and Gabriel.
Michael and Gabriel.
Come down to flying
Come
saucers.
down to flying saucers.
And punish all the heathen
Punish all the heathen
that come up against
that come
us.
up against it.
As we speak thy
As
word.
we speak thy word.
Cause to be known by all.
Cause to be known by all.
That it is the angels that have
There's
done
the
it.
angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Cause to be spread through the media.
Throughout the whole world.
Throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy
Cause
coming.
them to shake at that coming.
And name Yahweh Shai.
Name Yahushua.
Thank you always.
Thank you always. So big.
Everyone from Sorry. Sorry, Mr. Around. Out face. All right, good.
You know, Israel. Shabbat.
So like, you don't have to say it. All right.
Majum. Barak.
Yahweh
Hashem Yahushua Barak Atah.
Let's help the brother out. You want to repeat after us, all right? Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. It's like, yeah. Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak, Atah. Yeah, but of course, Atah is one, so you, in this case, you say Atham, because you're agreeing two brothers.
Okay.
All right? And now, continue.
That's what time. Gracious to the sister. Men of Israel. Amad Shabbat. Amadu. Barak. Yahweh Shemar Atah Bashim Yahushua. We say Yahweh Shemar Atah
So Al. So Al first. So Al, meaning two, and Atah, meaning you. Yeah, Al, Atah.
That's what time. Class dismissed.
Itu warna. Iya, itu warna.